All right. Well, welcome everyone. I am so excited that you're here. This is our first masterclass, and we're going to be talking about ways that we can cultivate a clear mind and an open heart. I know your time is important, and I know that you could literally be anywhere in the world. And so I'm really, really grateful that you have decided to spend these few minutes, these precious few minutes with me and with this particular question, which is how do we get a clear mind and an open heart? Because it sounds pretty good, doesn't it? So most of you know me. I usually start with stories about how I grew up in like an ashram and stuff like that. But like I said, my auntie is right here. And there are people that have known me my entire life. And my parents, I think, might even be on here. So I can't tell you that fake story sometimes I tell. So I'm going to tell you the real story, which is that you guys know, a lot of you know me as a physician. And so, I've been practicing medicine for a long time. I'm in my 21st year of practice, actually. I'm also a national board certified coach, as well as I have two different meditations that I've been teaching over the years. One is a guided meditation that's sleep-based. It's called Yoga Nidra. And then the other one is actually a mantra-based meditation that I teach. I also teach all kinds of different mindfulness, which is perfect with the coaching practice that I have as well. And then I'm the founder of Optimal Wellness, and this is really a coaching platform. And what we do at Optimal Wellness, and Courtney and I work together here, is we help busy folks. Like, we know that everybody here is super, super busy, but we help super busy people to really let go of guilt and tap into inner peace and power so they can live life with more energy and purpose. And so that's really my mission, if you will. And so I have been working also and teaching inside of the Chopra Global organization. And I am lucky enough that I get to be invited to a few of their smaller events. And so the last one was when the pandemic was a little bit on the lull, which was over the summertime. And so actually, I didn't take any photos that day that I was there. It was an incredible day. But then I saw this photo on the web. And then, of course, this is from the web. And so this was an outdoor meditation because, of course, the pandemic was still going on back in August. And here's Deepak Chopra, and then here I am right here. And so this was really just about maybe 20, 25 of us. So it was a really amazing meditation type of environment. And then you guys also know me as, I have two teenage girls. They're 17 and 15. And then I, married to Eric. And so this is a little bit about me, but most of you may have known most of those things about me. But the way that I came to teach meditation and to be so passionate about it is a pretty, circuitous route. I grew up until I was 11 in India, and I definitely saw meditation, definitely was exposed to some of this stuff. It's not like I was actually meditating or anything. And in fact, most of you who've known me most of my life, you would actually, I think, be shocked and surprised that I even talk about meditation or even, have anything to do with meditation, because I've always been a go, hardcore, like I will never slow down kind of person. But in fact, what it turns out is when you do that, you actually burn out and you hit lots and lots of walls, and you literally begin to burn in all different ways. And so within this self-discovery with meditation, I've been able to really not just help myself, but also help a lot of other folks to figure out how to more skillfully navigate through all of the challenges and all of the messes that life throws at us. It's not that we want to ignore it or pretend like we're happy all the time. That's absolutely not the case. And we certainly don't even want to be chill all the time, but we do want to be able to access those areas of peace and those areas of personal power anytime that we really want to. And that's what meditation has done for me. So I'll tell you what we're going to talk about today. So for the agenda today, we're really just going to start with the fundamentals because there's a lot of jargon, a lot of it's like a hashtag, right? Like, what is meditation? What is mindfulness? And really, like, why are they important? Like, those are some of the things that I think would be really easy to skip over and go deep into something else. But I really, when we start with the fundamentals, we start to really understand understand what this is about. And then we're actually going to meditate together. And so that's going to be a really fun thing for us to do. And then I'm going to give you an overview of the newest program that I've got offering, which is called The Power Within, which basically takes everything that we're learning and takes it into a much deeper level. And that's really what we're going to do today. How is everyone doing? Let's see who's in the chat here. Thank you, Courtney. So yeah, absolutely. Anytime you guys have any questions, type them in the chat. And you know that I like to talk really fast. And so for me, like I literally have a sticky note here that says, slow down, because my speed is like 10 out of 10. And so I'm going to look at my sticky note and be like, oh yeah, I got to slow down. That's right. Because I'm so excited. I'm like, blah. So as you guys have questions, if whatever comes up for you, put it in the chat. But before we get started, I would actually love to know, just type in one word, yes or no, or maybe, but just, I'd love to know how many of you are regular meditators, or curious about meditation, or you've tried meditation. I'd love to just know. So yeah, Holly says, yes, of course. Thank you for being here. Yes, Leah, yes. Leah says, woke up today feeling today is a new day and I'm on a new journey. You are a regular meditator and I love that. Yeah, absolutely, Lori, you do meditate every day. And what an amazing set of folks that we've got here. Let's see. Yeah. Dr. Aaron, you've tried and you're curious about it and you enjoy it. That's really cool. And Dr. Alyssa, you're starting a daily practice and that's really empowering. It's amazing. Sandeep, you've tried. Yeah, that's hard. It's really hard to get past a minute. And that's why we're going to do 10 minutes together today. And I'll talk you through it. Yeah, Dr. Raker, every day. That's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, and Deepthi, most days. Yeah, Holly, regular meditator, and then Christmas, yeah, crazy stuff happens, right? And then Courtney, every day when I need it, sometimes 2 minutes, sometimes 30. That's amazing. And then Nina, yes, you do meditate with me once a week, and then another time. That's amazing, right? So we've all had some experience with meditation. So this is really, really fun. Thank you for sharing all of those things, guys. Oh, I see one more chat there. What did I miss? What did I miss? Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, well, see, my mom is also a meditator. And so, but she's disguised as my dad on here. So don't be fooled. All right. So what is meditation? It's simple. It is really, really simple. Just like mindfulness. It is so simple. It is literally moving from activity into silence. That is all it is. It is a formal practice in mindfulness. And so we'll talk a little bit about what mindfulness is as well, because again, that can also be a hashtag, right? Meditation can be used for so many things, but it's a really great way to de-stress the mind. And it's a really great way to de-stress the body as well. And we'll talk about how that might work. And so it's also a great pathway to gain clarity and to increase compassion, to increase empathy. And ultimately, the word in Eastern traditions for mindfulness is really actually heartfulness. And so the mind and the heart are really thought to be just one entity. And so compassion is at the very core, and it also includes self-compassion as well. And so what is mindfulness, right? Again, lots of hashtags, lots of people saying, mindful this, mindful that. And again, it's also incredibly simple. And so most people would agree on this definition, which is that mindfulness is the awareness that arises when we are paying attention to this present moment without judgment and with curiosity. So really replacing curiosity with judgment. And so it's really simple, again, which is just the awareness that arises when we pay attention to this present moment. And ultimately, though, most of the time, we are actually not living very mindfully. It's really difficult to do so unless we train our minds to do that, because we can be thinking about a conversation that we had last week. We can be thinking about a meeting that's coming up in the next hour. We can be worried about some other issue that isn't present in front of us right here and now, and we get to miss the present moments. And so the way that I think of mindfulness is that it is our essential core being. So you guys have all been around little kids. So think about how that 3-year-old or that 4-year-old, and even sometimes a 5-year-old is, right? That 4-year-old, he or she, like, they really are present in the moment, and they are so curious, and they really don't have any judgment. And so, of course, as we go through life, we start to put on layer after layer after layer, and we start to lose some of that essence. And so the whole idea with meditation, with mindfulness, isn't that we're creating anything. We create nothing here. We're literally just tapping into what's already there that might be hidden from our view. That's really how I think of it. Right. So mindfulness can, again, like I said, we can really be more skillful in the ups and downs of life when we practice and train our minds in this way, not control our minds, not control our thoughts, but really training the mind in a compassionate way. And we get to actually be more grounded and be more skillful as we go through the turbulence of life, when we are cultivating this compassion, this self-compassion. And ultimately, the whole idea as well is to be able to recognize that we are not our thoughts, and recognize that when we are in a repetitive pattern of thoughts, and almost all of us are, by the way, that's just part of the human condition. But once we recognize it and we bring awareness to it, that's really when we begin to notice, to really notice these many powers that we have within us, right? So many different ways to incorporate mindfulness in our lives. So we can go for a walk mindfully, right? We can go and look at the sky. We can smell the whatever is going on in the air. We can listen for, whether it's even traffic or birds, but that's really just paying attention. And so we can even, one of the times I try to practice mindfulness is when I'm like washing the dishes, because I get pretty annoyed with washing the dishes. And so you can really do anything in a mindful way. And again, it's a practice. It's definitely not something that, you get to do this once and you're now the expert at it, right? So that's really it. Anybody have any questions? I don't know that I can see the chat here. Okay, good. All right. So why are we here? Like, why are we talking about meditation, right? Well, what we're doing in our society isn't working. It's not working out. It's really not working out. And so even before the pandemic, like way before the pandemic, for years and years and years before that, there has been a chronic epidemic, an actual epidemic of chronic stress, of chronic inflammation. And we know that we can link this to a whole host of chronic physical and emotional and mental health issues, right? So we know that heart disease has skyrocketed, diabetes has skyrocketed, metabolic issues. We know that GI disturbances, so IBS, even Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, all of these things they've all been on the rise, and they're projected to rise even more. Cancers are rising, and they're going to keep going higher and higher. And we can absolutely connect a lot of this back into chronic inflammation and chronic diseases. And so we also know that mental health issues, and yes, the pandemic has really compounded on all of this, but ultimately, emotional well-being is not great in our society, and mental well-being is not great in our society as well. And so most of the time, unless we are really being very careful and very proactive and mindful and conscious, we can live in these low levels of the sympathetic response, right? We can live in these really levels of fight or flight, which can keep us in a very inflamed, kind of irritable state. And I've definitely noticed this for myself. This is something that I experienced for years and years and years. And then ultimately too, I mean, we're not going to get into all the issues that are going on, but just as an overview, we can live in an incredibly distracted world, right? And so, average American spends 3 hours a day on social media. And that could be Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I don't even know the rest of them, but that's 3 hours a day. That's 21 hours a week. I'm not saying social media is bad. You guys all know I'm on social media, but this is just something to spend a little bit of time kind of navigating through a little bit more skillfully, which is something that I'm really trying to navigate through skillfully as well. So it's not all bad or good. The fight or flight isn't all bad or good. Of course, we have to have our fight or flight. Otherwise, we might miss some signals and we might die. And so there are certain things about this that really require more balance than not, right? That's really what we're talking about here, is more balance. Has anybody experienced any of those things? Ever? Of course not. None of you have. I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. Courtney, I still can't see the chat. So when you see the chat, you can let me know.
You're good.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So, all right. All right. So here's why we're talking about meditation, is really because meditation is the antidote to a lot of that chronic stress, to a lot of that chronic inflammation. And those of you who are meditators, you found this to be true, just you've discovered that for yourselves as well. And so one of the things that meditation, even in the very first time, even in the first minute, we can turn on that parasympathetic, that rest and restore response, which really counteracts the fight or flight response, right? And so what we start to see, even again in a 1, 2, 3 times meditation, is people will start to have decreased levels of stress hormones, things like cortisol, adrenaline, which of course can keep us in that chronic inflamed state. And over time, even just 3 or 4 weeks, people will report noticing significantly decreased levels of depression, of anxiety, of overwhelm. And that's really, you know, I talk a lot about how I used to really feel this sense, this palpable anxiousness a lot, especially like when my kids were little. I just had it, and I thought that's how I was supposed to live my life. I just had it. And then I was, you know, doing different things to numb it, either like overworking, over-exercising. I mean, there were all kinds of different ways that I was like, this is, you know, I can make it go away for this period of time. And ultimately, it's really just dealing with those feelings can be incredible too. So yeah. And so Leah says, yeah, you're less intense. You feel stronger in your bones. Yeah. And you want to drink less. That's really powerful. Thank you for sharing that, Leah. And so what else do we see? We start to see, and you know, we talked about some of the things that happen to our physical bodies when we live in that constant, you know, state of fight or flight, which unless we're careful about, we're just going to live in that. And we can start to see improvement in things like digestion, because again, when the body and the mind senses that we're not in imminent danger of dying, right? Because we can go into a fight or flight response when we pick up our phone and somebody has said something really rude to us, or something that's wrong, or we feel like we've been wronged. It could be a text, it can be an email, it can be on social media, whatever it is. And all of a sudden we can go directly into that fight or flight response. And our bodies don't know that we're not being attacked by a saber-toothed tiger. And so when we can very deliberately live in that parasympathetic response more of the time, we actually tend to have an activation of that self-healing, like I was talking about. So the immune response improves, sleep quality improves. There are really epigenetic changes that happen as well that we'll get into maybe on the next one. But ultimately, there are literally so many benefits of meditation that we could be here talking about it for 3 or 4 hours, but this is like a grand overview, if you will, right? And so what else, right? Like we talked about the body, what happens to the brain? There are different changes to blood flow when we are living in kind of that chronic stress environment. And part of that is we have a lot of blood flow into the limbic system, which is the amygdala, the hypothalamus, and they keep us in kind of that like alarm state. And so when that happens, a lot of the times we can have the prefrontal cortex go offline. In fact, that is what happens because the brain can't have two centers that are working all at the same time. It's not that we don't have access to it. It kind of goes offline. It goes off to the like side to wait this out. And so what happens when we meditate and meditate regularly is we get to have not just, you know, higher blood flow, but what it shows us is that we get to have higher access. We get to have access to creativity, centers for discernment. We can access more calm. We can access that peace, not just pretend like we're peaceful, right? Like even if you had seen me, you know, 10 years ago and I was freaking out, you wouldn't have necessarily known, but literally match the inside to the outside, if you will, and become less reactive. So the idea of responding to a stimulus rather than reacting to a stimulus. And again, this doesn't happen overnight and there's not a magic button to press, but these are the possibilities for the changes in our brains when we decide to take up the practice of meditation on a regular basis, is that we literally rewire the brain, we reprogram the brain every single time we meditate. And so, these ancient rishis and these sages, they were onto something, and they really took great care. We can trace some of these, especially like my mantra-based meditation that I teach, it can be traced back to at least 4,000 or 5,000 years. And even the Yoga Nidra, we can taste it, really. And so that to me is the ultimate evidence, right? Like that our ancestors took that much care of this beloved sacred wisdom to make sure it was passed on from teacher to student, teacher to student. And, we call this clear mind, open heart. And so meditation is a really great way to increase our compassion, empathy, altruism, all those pro-social behaviors. When we're altruistic, we think we're helping someone else, but we know through studies that ultimately it comes back to us multiple fold. Anytime we do a volunteer activity, anytime we're giving of ourselves, we're actually giving back to ourselves when we think we're actually giving to someone else, particularly if we don't have an attachment to this is why I want to do this. And there's more clarity too, because there's less jumbo in there. When there's less coming in, when there's less noise, there's more clarity. And so we get to give our brains the ability to have a little bit more clarity, just a tiny bit more clarity than perhaps it had before. Right. So, anyway, we can talk about meditation like all day long, right? And it's really fun, but like nothing will change until we meditate. And so I do want us to meditate. I want to share, depending on how much time has passed, I want to share, I had mentioned to you guys, I moved the webinar from last week to this week, and I am really grateful for the response and the support that I got from you guys. And that was incredible. I just want to share kind of what's, what happened, what's going on. And that way I can also share with you, and I just kind of jotted down 3 main points of how my practice of meditation helped me, right? So we have a dog, she's 75 pounds. She just turned 4. And she is like a huge part of our lives. We treat her like a child. I mean, we're obsessed with her and we love her to like crazy, crazy depths. And we picked her up on January 1st, and she ended up having this really weird, strange thing where her tail had become paralyzed and she had lost the ability to control her bowel and her bladder. And it actually took us like 12, maybe even 14, maybe even 15 hours to recognize that there was something wrong with her, because she's usually pretty tired after boarding. And so by the time we realized it, of course, it was like, evening. And so it ended up that we spent, a span of about 5 days at 5 different vets. And then ultimately she ended up at a hospital over in Gainesville, which is a couple hours from home. And they did, test after test after test, and kind of came up with no answers at all. And so ultimately, though, she doesn't have a cancer that's sitting there. That was the original thought that they said, you're going to have to kind of say goodbye to her. And so stay around here and all these things. And so ultimately she didn't have that, but they also don't know what is causing this. And so we brought home this amazing, gorgeous dog that we love so much, who doesn't know how to pee or poo by herself. And so that's really what we're dealing with. And we're actually doing pretty well with her. And I am really sure that she's going to recover, but because what's been happening is she's really been trying. She's really trying. She's recognizing what's happening and she's really trying. And so we've got some folks we've lined up to help us out with this, but ultimately, that was a pretty stressful event emotionally and mentally and physically as well, because like we were like in a different town and things like that. And so I have really 3 main ways. If this had happened to me a few years ago, like I think I would have lost a lot more sleep. I would have also not recovered as well. And I wouldn't have been able to help my family even remotely. But the 3 real things that I learned from this or gleaned from this was I recognized when I was about to rehearse a tragedy. Like we're really good at that. Like our brains really want predictability. Our brains are prediction machines. Our brains want stability and predictability. And I didn't have any of those things. And so my brain was trying to project out every single tragic, horrible thing that was going to come out of this. And even now, like I can tell you a lot of tragic thoughts that show up in my brain. But, the thing is, now I have the awareness that this is a thought that my brain is creating to protect me. But the truth is, what we know for sure is that no matter how much we rehearse a tragedy, we are actually never going to be more ready for it than when it occurs. It will never help us be ready for that tragedy. And so what happens when we're rehearsing a tragedy is we lose the present moment as well. And so I was able to come back from that, and I can still come back from that. And it's not like it's easy. It's not like I'm like, oh, it's so easy, but it is a practice. And it is a practice that I am deliberately practicing, being mindful, being aware of this present moment, bringing in gratitude, because like Seneca said, we suffer twice. The first time we suffer in our minds, and the second time there's actually suffering. And so we don't need to suffer twice. So that was one thing that I learned. And then the second is just acceptance of uncertainty, which is, it sounds really bizarre, but this is an uncertain future here, right? And it's also this practice, a real practice of sitting in discomfort and sitting with unease, and to a certain degree, cultivating some ease with the unease. And I'm not saying I'm an expert at this. I'm not sitting on some mountaintop, nothing like that. I'm doing this really, really messy. I mean, it is messy in my brain, but I am so much better than if I wasn't trying to do these things, for sure. And then I was able to use my mantra. I was able to really stay grounded, and I still stay grounded. I use my breath. The breath can only be right here in this very present moment, right? It cannot be anywhere else. The breath connects the body and the mind. And so, and I would remember, listen, if my prefrontal cortex goes offline, I'm probably going to make some pretty bad decisions here. So I just really need to stay grounded. I just really need to stay in this moment. And so those are just a couple, like 3 ways that I know for sure. There's probably more, but that's just a personal story that I wanted to share with you, so that, like you didn't think that I went off on like vacation in Aruba or something and canceled our masterclass. So is everyone ready to meditate? Everyone's ready? All right. Very cool. So really all you need to do, the kind of meditation that we're going to do is called a metta meditation. And really I chose it because we chose to have an open heart. And so the open heart is really just about giving and receiving love unconditionally to all sentient beings on the planet, which, sounds great and wonderful, but it can be pretty challenging a lot of the times, right? And so it's also known as loving kindness meditation. So it's really fun. So you guys feel free to leave your cameras off. Whatever you'd like to do is totally fine with me. I'm probably going to leave my video off because I do like to just get into my moment here. And so what we'll do is let's begin the meditation by just sitting up straight and just having a straight back. And just as you're comfortable, if you'd like, you can gently close your eyes, or you can have a soft downward gaze. Just coming into this present moment and just letting any expectations go if you notice any showing up for you. And just decide for the next few minutes, you'll just follow the guidance and stay curious. There's no need to strain. There's no need to concentrate. It's just being present in a relaxed way. Let's take a few deep, slow cleansing breaths in and out. And with each exhale, just letting go of anything that's no longer serving you. Just allowing it to go. Perhaps dropping the shoulders a bit more. Letting any expectations go. Just gently putting your attention on the breath. The in-breath, the out-breath. without trying to alter it in any way. Now I want you to silently repeat the following phrases as I say them. May I be safe and well. May I live with ease and happiness. May I be free from pain. Now think of and envision a person who loves you very much. It could be someone from the past or the present, someone still in life or someone who has passed. It could be a spiritual teacher. Imagine that person standing in front of you, sending you all their love. That person is sending you wishes for your safety, for your well-being, for your happiness. Allow yourself to feel the warmth and the love coming to you. Feel the comfort of their kindness and their love. Now imagine that you are surrounded on all sides by all the people who love you and who have loved you. Picture all of your loved ones and friends surrounding you. They are standing, sending you wishes for your happiness, your well-being. Bask in the warm wishes and love coming from all sides. You are filled and overflowing with warmth and love. Now picture a person that you love very much, perhaps a relative or a friend, perhaps someone who may be going through a difficult time right now. This person, like you, wishes to have a happy life. You and this person are similar. Send unconditional love and well wishes for this person. Repeat the following phrases silently to this person. Just as I wish to, may you be safe. May you be happy. May you live with ease and happiness. just as I wish to. May you be safe. May you be happy. And may you live with ease and happiness. And now think of an acquaintance, perhaps someone you don't know very well, toward you don't have any particular feeling. Perhaps it's a neighbor or someone from work. Think of this person now. You and this person are similar. This person, like you, wishes to be happy. Repeat these phrases silently. Just as I wish to, may you also live with ease and happiness. Just as I wish to, may you also live with ease and happiness. Now begin to expand your awareness. Imagine radiating love to all beings, all around the world. Picture the whole globe in front of you as a little ball. Feel the love that you're overflowing with, moving through your body and out through your heart and into the universe. Silently repeat these phrases. May all beings be safe and well. May all beings live with ease and happiness. May all beings be free from pain. May all beings be safe and well. May all beings live with ease and happiness. May all beings be free from pain. Imagine reaching every living creature until you feel the profound interconnectedness of us all. Now, still keeping your eyes closed or a gentle gaze downward, just return to your breath. Just noticing the breath without the need to alter the breath. With your attention at the level of your heart, bring in a deep sense of gratitude for yourself, for creating this space in your busy life. Now taking a few deeper breaths, coming back to the body gently, perhaps wiggling the toes. And just when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Namaste. Anybody want to drop anything in the chat? Deepti, good. Yeah, I knew you'd love that one. It's kind of the essence of who you are, you know. It was really fun. Thank you guys for allowing that for me. Good. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, Aaron, absolutely. I'm grateful for you, Nina. Yeah, we can forget self-compassion pretty quickly, right? That's why we always start in this practice. We start with us. Actually, that's what we do. So thank you, Ilham. I'm grateful you're here. So this is a really amazing experience, right? This is a tiny drop of what meditation can do for us. And it's really powerful. You get to see how powerful this actually is as we go through our lives, right? And so I invite you to join me for the next phase of this, which is really the group program that I have going on right now. Many of you have joined me for lots of other group programs. A lot of you have worked with me one-on-one already, and I'm so grateful for you. I want to tell you a little bit about what's inside the, the power within. Thank you so much, Sandeep. Yeah, that's great, right? It does. It can just help you feel really amazing pretty quickly. And yes, thank you so much, Dr. Frundi. And yeah, and my parents both enjoyed it, which is great. So what is the power within? I want to tell you a little bit about it, and want to see if you think it's a good fit for you. I'd love anybody who you think is a good fit for, tell them about it if it's not for you, but let me tell you what's going on in there. So it's a 12-week program. We're about to open it up in 2 more weeks. And we are currently, I'm actually offering CME credit for any physicians or nurse practitioners. And it is AMA PRA Category 1, which is the kind of the highest level of CME credit that you can get. And really, this is a coaching program. That's what this is. And so coaching is different than therapy. Therapy is incredibly important. Coaching is neuroscience-based. My training for coaching was at Duke Integrative Health. And coaching really is very, very different than practicing medicine. It's different than teaching, and it's different than therapy. Like I said, coaching is very action-oriented. It's mindset-oriented. And we go well beyond thought work because we're really basically supercharging all of our mindset work with meditation. And so if you're interested in gaining more clarity in your life, if you want to have a more vibrant life, if you want more time in your life, if you want inner peace, inner power, and you want to work more productively, you want to be more focused, if you want to cultivate more of those really meaningful types of relationships in your life, if you'd like to have a community of really like-minded people who we laugh often, we joke at ourselves, we joke with each other, we don't take ourselves all that seriously, then come inside the power within. And so what do we get? What do we get? What's the nuts and bolts of this? All of the stuff in my website too. And Courtney, if you'd like, feel free to put that in the chat too. Literally, I just opened up the doors last night, and I had one person already sign up. And so I do expect this to completely fill out. So we're going to have, over the course of 12 weeks, we're going to have 12 live and small group sessions. A little bit similar to this, but really, really deep dives into not just meditation, but ways of thinking and being that can be more skillful in life and be more not just productive, but fulfilling. It's always recorded, so you don't have to make the group meetings. You can always catch it afterwards. You get to have your own portal into a membership. And so what we're going to work on, just a touch of it, is resilience. Really, we're going to figure out how to optimize sleep. There's emotional mastery. I'm going to bring in a lot of Ayurvedic concepts into this. We're going to do yoga. So we're going to do mind-body connection. And so it isn't just meditation, even though just meditation we could do for 12 weeks and still not really get all the way deep enough. There's going to be an on-demand library. And so I have, when I looked at it, I have done over 130 yoga nidras in 2021. Actually more than that, but group yoga nidras. And so out of those, there are like 6 or 8 or 10 that always rise to the top. People will go and do those. And I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of play times on just some of these other ones. And so I know that I've hit something there. There's something there as far as intentions and affirmations and that energy that's in that yoga nidra, which is really high powered. And so those are the exact yoga nidras that are going to be inside the on-demand library, because they go away from the unlisted YouTubes actually today. There are going to be micro meditations. If you only have 2 minutes to meditate, if you only have 5 minutes to meditate, there's going to be exclusive little tiny micro meditations that are evidence-based, really neuroscience-based. That's really what these are. And of course, we're going to have a private community. We're going to have, it's a closed Facebook group. And we know that when we work together, that all kinds of amazing things tend to come out of this. I've actually lined up the most amazing guest coaches ever. So we're going to learn from them. There are physicians with all kinds of expertise, physician coaches in mindful movement, in how to get us to be more productive, in how to switch our mindsets, and of course, sleep optimization, which, you know, all of us could do as well. And so what else? Like I added crazy amounts of bonuses to this. And so there is going to be, I haven't even announced this yet, but you get the first ones to hear this, but in the spring, so the week of March 20th, that is when we move into spring from winter. And that's a really great time to do an Ayurvedic detox. And that is going to be a complimentary seat inside of that Ayurvedic spring reset detox come March. That's going to be amazing. So we're really going to bring in doshic preferences. I'm going to have herbal recommendations. We're going to really have a lot of practical ways, including recipes, you know, teas, all kinds of things on how to detox the mind and the body to fully support like moving with intention into the springtime. It's going to be amazing. And so right now, this is a very, very limited time bonus. This is going to go away after Saturday. So if you register in the next 24 hours, you will get 2 private coaching sessions with me. And if any of you have ever worked with me one-on-one, and I think some of you have, you do know the high value of this, and you know that the value is like through the roof at this point. And I'm actually going to have a swag bag, really fun stuff delivered to your door from me to you. I added up all this stuff, including all of our guest coaches that are going to be coming in, the amount of time and the meditation library, and I broke it all down on the website. This is literally like a $6,550 course. And I have actually lots of experiences in spending this kind of money in a 3-month period. And I can give you lots of other examples where people are charging $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. But because I really want to make this more applicable to anybody and anybody, we have right now, Courtney and I came up with $14.95, and that will also go up. And so if you want the bonuses, if you want it to be at the lowest price you will ever find it, now is the time. Like now is the time to register. I would highly, highly, highly recommend coming in, even if anything that we talked about today piqued your interest, if you're even thinking about it, if you'd like to have a conversation with me, email me. You guys know my email, contact me. And I'm always, always happy to answer any questions that you might have. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you, Courtney, for putting in that website. And when I send you guys the link for the replay, if you ever want to kind of catch this meditation again, then I'll also send you the opportunity to not miss this bonus that's going to show up. And so CMEs, that's a great question, Dr. Aaron. It's 12 CME credits. So that can be a great way to use CME credit. This is also a great way to use if you have any allotted income for professional growth in your company or in your earnings. It's also a really great way to do that too. And so, you know, a lot of times we think, and certainly we can go alone. There's nothing wrong with going alone. And so there's that African proverb that I tend to learn and relearn. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that's why Courtney and I are working together. That's why I'm, collaborating with other folks. And I'm sure all of you want to go far. So don't go alone, come together, come play with me. We're going to have a great time. This is, I mean, I cannot tell you how excited I am. I mean, obviously you can tell how excited I am. But, a lot of times I'll get questions about the time, what's the time commitment? Because obviously this is, I've designed this for busy women, right? Like this is who it's for. It's not for people who are just, kind of like twiddling their thumbs, seeing like what else, right? So how many spots are available? There are going to be a total of 25. One just registered last night, even though I kind of officially opened the doors this morning. And so I do expect to fill this out. And again, you don't want to miss the bonuses and the lowest price. That's in the next 24 hours. It really does go away afterwards. And so right now only women, but I am more than happy to talk to any men and also just discuss it with the other women as well. I've had men in my programs. I coach men one-on-one. I don't have a thing against men. I think they're amazing. I'm married to one, just to kind of keep things coherent. And that's really but that's a really good question right now. Yeah. But if nothing else, I would say, if you enjoyed this meditation, whether you come inside or not, choose consciously to set aside 5 minutes, even if you just close your eyes and notice your breath. Maybe use an app, maybe, look at some books. I mean, all of these things it's not that they don't work. It's that you might just take a really long time to get to a certain level. I mean, that was definitely the case for me before I started working inside of a very, conscious group of moving through different meditations and also one-on-one. I have a coach now. I've always had a coach over the last couple of years. It just would take me a long time. So it isn't that I couldn't get here or you can't get to a different place. Of course you can. It's just, if you want to really move through it, then come work with me. This is what I'm offering you. I'd love to have you there. Yeah. Any questions? Time-wise, 1 hour a week is really what I recommend. So hopefully everybody has that hour a week. And so there's definitely thank you, Dr. Aaron. I'm going to forward you that Facebook post that I'd love for you to share as well. So anyone else? Oh, I got some chats here. So what we ended up doing was we switched it out from evenings to Friday afternoons. So that way, we're going to do Tuesday evenings and then Friday afternoons. And again, it's all going to be in the on-demand portal that you get to see your progress every time you log in there. And so it isn't like you forget which ones you've done or haven't done. And so thank you so much. Yes, thank you, Dr. L. I'm so excited. And so it isn't twice a week. That's a good question. So 1 week it'll be on a Tuesday evening, and then the next week it'll be on a Friday afternoon. So Tuesday evening, Friday afternoon. So what ended up happening when we were checking it out was there were a lot of folks who couldn't do evenings, and there were a lot of people who couldn't do Fridays at noon. And so we said, okay, let's switch it out so that way we can accommodate as many people as we can. And again, you really don't need to be at the live sessions. It's great if you can make some, but the videos are always going to be in that library, right? And so everything that we discuss live, you'll always catch afterwards as well. And then we're going to have obviously discussions through the week so that we take deeper dives into something. But that's a good question. What else? Any other questions? Any comments? Show them. Give me what you guys got. But I am really grateful that I know you could be anywhere. I'm really grateful that you came. I mean, I'm so grateful. If nothing else, truly grateful. Thank you. So Leah, slightly confused. How many hours a week? So there'll only be 1 live a week. So it'll either be, and actually I have it published on my website. So it'll only be, you only need to come to 1 Tuesday night, if it's Tuesday night, or a Friday at noon. And that's it. So we're just switched it out. That's all. So it's just 1 hour a week, every week. That's live. And then, yeah, perfect. Thank you for asking that. And so really that's all you need to be able to do this. But remember, I have curated this after years and years and years and years of working with people, not to create another to-do list for you. This is the exact opposite of that. This should be the power for you to move through your to-do list more productively in a more focused manner so that you actually get more time out of that 1 hour that you spend inside the program. That's really what my goal is here. I want you to like blow the value, the value out of this, out of the water. That's really the whole goal for this, for you guys. So yeah, right. Absolutely. So, oh, that's another good question, Holly. How long? So the course will be 12 weeks, and then you'll have access to that library for 6 more weeks afterwards. So technically, for a good long while afterwards. And so we'll continue to support each other and have that community to do this with. That's a really good question. Sunny, thank you so much for coming. Yes. Your resting heart rate really dropped. That's so cool to hear. That's amazing. Yeah. It's really astounding. And I hope that you do keep this up. I have a few other ones too, just if you have any interest on my YouTube channel, and they're super easy, right? Like, it's, again, meditation is simple. Sometimes we make it a little harder than it should be. So remember, there's no right way to meditate. That's what I always say. There's no right way to meditate. And there's no like good meditation or bad meditation. It's all meditation. All right, guys. If you don't have any other, I don't want to keep you any longer. Feel free. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. If anyone wants to come on and chat, happy to do so.